Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to A Gentleman's Life. It is a lovely Sunday morning here in Germany. Blue sky, there's some clouds out there, but the sun is out and it's gorgeous and not too hot, but not too chilly outside. Enjoying a nice morning coffee out of the French press. Yeah, a bit nerdy here. Yield. And different levels of how awake I am. It's a Sunday. I usually have this at work. But yeah, enjoying my morning coffee from the French press, and thought I would make a video as well. Wearing the Zenith this beautiful Sunday. The sun is a bit crazy there. There we are, the lovely Zenith. And got an interesting email this past week. Actually, a couple. So this is the first one. I'm going to respond to, along with a few other random thoughts. So first is, my first thought was, really, I was talking to my dad. He had a quartz or battery-powered quartz Seiko for a number of years, and at one point, a couple years ago, the battery died, and he just didn't keep wearing a watch anymore. And about a year ago, I got him an Orient dress watch, Orient Bambino dress watch, because it really fit to me with, what he would wear to work every day kind of style, which he really likes. And then I also I had a Christopher Ward, one of their pilot watches. A standard. Well, if they're new, I think at that time they were around $500 if they were new. I bought it secondhand for like $300. Standard at a 28-24 movement. So I gave him that for his birthday this year, and it really got me thinking, or we got talking a little bit, really, and got me thinking about the watch tier system that we have kind of created and live in our little watch obsessive world, and it was really interesting. Because when my dad got it, he called me and he was telling me, "Oh, this is a really nice watch. I like this. I can tell this is really nice." So he could tell the difference, between the Orient, even though the Orient, very well made Japanese watch, reliable, automatic movement, that should last him years and years. But even then, once he got the other one, I got him the Orient new. He got the Christopher Ward that I gave him. It was secondhand, and instantly he could just tell the difference. To him, it felt like an expensive, nice watch, which was really interesting to me, because we would consider that to be probably a lower end tier 3, mid-range tier 3 type watch, because we're just kind of all in our crazy obsessive watch world. And it was just really interesting to me to hear that difference in thought from what I guess we could call a normal person. Because when I think about watches, sometimes I think about, I started, in the tier 1, mostly tier 2, and then worked my way into tier 3, and then bought my first tier 4. And at that point I realized that when it came to, because I looked at some tier 5s and even looked at some tier 6s and shop windows and stuff, and I realized that for me, with the money I'm willing to spend versus what I want out of a watch, for the most part, tier 4, or we would call tier 4 watches, are what really appeal to me. And there are a few tier 3s that appeal as well, and a couple, tier 5s here and there that also appeal to me. But for the most part, it's that range that, for me, gives me what I want from a watch for a cost I'm willing to spend. And it was just interesting hearing someone who doesn't even think about any of these things and just thinks, "Oh, that's a nice watch. I like it." And it seems like it probably costs a decent amount of money. And that's it, something like, "Oh yeah, I'll wear that all the time because I like it." So it's just really interesting hearing that difference in thought process. So I thought I'd share that with all my fellow watch obsessive viewers. because I wondered if you guys had any similar type experiences, really, where it was someone kind of jolted you out of your watch obsessive mindset for a minute, and you could just kind of appreciate that they got a watch that they really like, regardless of anything to do with how much it cost. Because that's great to me, you know. My dad now has 2 watches that he'll probably have one on his wrist, you know, 7 days a week, and be very happy with both of them. And they both fit for what he's going to wear. So that's great. The other thing I was thinking about is, you know, I've been watching a lot of the Tour de France for the past week or so. I've been listening to Wimbledon on the radio, waiting for the tour to start, and I've been streaming, you know, the tour on the computer every day, and it's been pretty exciting so far. It's been a good first week. I love cycling. I used to race as a teenager, and now I mostly just commute to work by bike instead of racing. But absolutely love the sport. Unfortunately, when I was racing was during the kind of the drug era, so that was kind of annoying, if you will. Stupid computer. But no, I've really enjoyed it. It's been really interesting. It's the first time ever you've had 2 yellow jersey leaders have to drop out due to injuries in the same tour. That's never happened before. There's been some really exciting racing through Netherlands, northern France. They've gone through kind of the Paris-Roubaix area, Belgium and France, over the cobblestones for a day, and they've been going along the northern coast in Normandy. It's been really interesting, really fun to watch. So, don't know if any of my viewers enjoy watching cycling or watch the Tour de France, but if you're just into sports and haven't checked it out, maybe it's worth checking out. It's been a pretty good year so far for the Tour. A lot of excitement, I think, and it's been really fun to watch, and I'm going to be watching all the way through. So any of my viewers are into cycling, feel free to, you know, send back what you think is going on, or what you think of what's going on, what you think might happen. Always interested in sharing thoughts on the bike racing. So without further ado, I'm going to go on to the viewer email. So this is actually from Tony, who sent me an email before that I've done a video with, and he was asking me essentially, what do you think, or what do you use as an everyday watch? He sent me a picture of his. It's the Orient Mako. For him, it's the Pepsi, and which I will overlay a photo into the video. And here is Tony's Orient Mako. And mentioned how it was staggering quality for money, which I have to agree. Orient's watches, in my opinion, are great quality for money. If you're looking for a nice watch and you just can't spend more than $200 or $300, Orient makes some great stuff. Some of their designs aren't really for me, but the Orient Bambino is really nice. There's also an Orient Star dress watch that's really nice. The Orient Mako is an excellent quality kind of entry-level dive watch. I haven't had one yet, but I have had a couple Orients. As I said, I got one for my dad. I've had another myself. And the Mako has always been something I've considered getting and just never have actually gotten. But they make excellent quality stuff. So that's a great everyday, you know, I hesitate to use the word beater, but I mean, as an everyday watch you don't have to worry about. And then that got me thinking about the idea of everyday watches. And I was thinking, do we all have like an everyday watch? I know for me, I don't have an everyday watch. I have kind of different watches I would consider everyday watches for different situations. So that's kind of what I'm going to share at this point as an example. So when I'm thinking about, you know, a general, a work day for me, you know, I have a couple watches that I would consider like normal watches I wear almost every day for days I go to work. Really there's 4 I guess I would choose from on work days. So I'm just going to pull those out of the box really quick and share those. And then, you know, I also have watches for my days off. And then I have kind of a category that I would consider like my deployment watches, watches for going out in the field or going out in the outdoors, things like that. Whether it's going out on a deployment or out camping or doing outdoor activities or whatever. So first, my work watches. So watches I would wear every day when I'm going to work. And the first of these is none other than my Tudor Pelagus, ultimate in tool watch design to me. And you know, when I sit at a desk most of the time anyways, but yeah, that's number one on my list for wearing to work. And then I also have the Omega Seamaster, so that's another work watch for me. And then the Steinhardt Pilot Watch, so that's another one I'll wear to work sometimes. And last but not least is the Hamilton Khaki. So those are kind of the 4 watches I rotate when it comes to going to work. I mean, yeah, I'm not really dressed up for work, and there's always a chance of doing some sort of physical activity. Most of the time, I'm stuck in an office at a computer, but you never know what you're going to have to do, so those are the watches that I wear to work. Now, if we're talking about days where I'm off work and either I'm around the house or I'm going down in the village to get groceries or go out to eat or anything like that, really, I have a couple different watches I would wear. The first being the Zenith that I'm wearing right now. So the Zenith. Another one that I use as a days off of work watch for me now is the Christopher Ward. Come on, sunlight. There we go. Christopher Ward single pusher chronograph. So that's another one I wear on days off quite a bit. And then there's a time here or there where I bring out the vintage one on my days off because I don't really wear that one for work either. So on some days off, I do wear the Seiko 6105 as well, just because I don't want to be banging that around or anything like that too bad. Just because it's 39 years old, so don't want to beat it up too bad. And then the last category is kind of my I don't want to call them beater watches, but the watches I'll wear out in more austere conditions, if you will. And for that, the nicest of those is the Christopher Ward GMT. But I put an eye on the NATO, and it wears pretty well that way. So that's when I'm not too worried about beating up that much. Also in my deployment category is the Citizen Nighthawk. So that's the Eco Drive. It's also got GMT function. And also for this category, I have two digital watches. One is the G-Shock Mudman, which I really do like for that kind of watch. And the other one is more just for exercise, but I do have the cheapest version of the Garmin watch for GPS tracking of your runs. I bike more than I run, so I don't use this that much, but I do need to run sometimes. So I have this for that as well. So I guess as you can see, for me, I don't really have an everyday watch or a beater watch, but I have kind of between my core collection and then my deployment section, I really have 3 categories. It's I have watches for work, I have watches for not at work, and then I have deployment beater watches essentially. I don't have that one or two, the one watch or 2 watches that are specifically everyday, don't care about beating them up watches. All of my watches I'm willing to wear on a given day, depending on the situation. So I kind of split it into the categories of work, not work, and then out in the field. So that's how I've split mine. I'd be interested to hear how everyone else does that, if you just rotate randomly, or if you kind of have in your mind, depending on whether it's a work day or a stay at home or go out day. If you have certain watches for certain conditions, if you will, because that's kind of how I've split it. So thanks for the email, Tony. I thought that was actually a really interesting topic. And I was actually interested then, I had thought about how do I split it up, really, because I hadn't thought about it. I just had been subconsciously doing this without even thinking about it before. So it was interesting to think about it, actually. And I'd be interested to hear what everyone else thinks on the topic. If you guys have your beater watch, or you just rotate at random, or have any other system of what you do. Or were you like me, where subconsciously you were just doing something and not even realizing it? And Tony, as far as having an everyday watch that you don't mind beating up, I think that Orient Mako is an excellent choice. I'm a fan of that as a good everyday watch. So thumbs up to that one. And really, that covers it for my video this morning. And like I said, just a couple topics on my mind. Thinking through, when someone breaks your concept of the tier system for the first time, or if you haven't thought about that for a while because they're not watch obsessive like we are, just really interesting to think about. And yeah, everyday watches, interesting to think about. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any thoughts or comments, leave them in the comments below, or send me an email. The email will be in the description below. Would love to hear anyone who's into the Tour de France. Love to hear sharing your thoughts about what's going on this year, or anything to do with the video. So thanks for watching. Until next time.